Hey everybody, welcome to Taco Tuesday. This month we're talking about mindset, and I am super excited about our speaker tonight. I spotlighted him already. You all know him from all the things Scentsy, right? But tonight we have Jason Harwood with us, and I really think you don't even need an introduction because you are so well known. But I will say this. Jason has been around since the beginning of my Scentsy journey. He did take a little hiatus and left to do a few other things, but he came back. But he has always been a warm smile to me and just an incredible resource within Scentsy. And I don't think anyone could deny he has infectious energy, right? But I asked him to speak on mindset tonight because it's a topic that, quite honestly, he's an expert on. So without any further ado, the floor is yours, Jason. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's very nice. Uh
You can pay me later.
yeah, yeah. I did. I started with Scentsy in 2008, and so I have been around for now 15 years. I know it sounds like 16 years, but yeah, I was gone for 1 year. And so, but yeah, luckily came back. That was yeah. And just happy to be here with you guys tonight. Excited to spend some time talking and growing with you guys. Yeah, if you have any questions, I mean, you can feel free to put them in the chat. The fun thing is, I don't really know much. And so you can ask questions, and I probably won't know the answer unless you're like asking. I don't know. I don't even know. Sometimes this is a true story. I was at a reunion. I can't remember what reunion it was, but I was at a reunion and a consultant came up to me and asked a question. And at reunion, we wear staff shirts. And so I had my reunion shirt on and it said staff on the back. And she came up and asked me a question. And I said to her, I said, my guess is if you found any other person wearing a staff shirt, they would know the answer to that. My guess is you found the one person wearing a staff shirt that does not know the answer to that question. So, but you know, if you have questions, I'm happy to say that is a great question, and I don't know. Just kind of fun. We can see how everybody does. Any guesses on our top seller so far this month? We've had a great month in sales. Any guesses on our top seller? You can put it in the chat if you have any guesses. Oh, Truman. Yeah, you guys nailed it. Truman the Terrier, top seller. And those of you who are guessing truck, very good. That's our number 2 top seller so far this month. Yeah, really two powerful products. After that, top sellers this month come in as some of our Star Wars products. And the Jawa doing really well. Yeah, Karen. Where's the next incentive trip? Strange, I do know that one. Rock Springs, Wyoming. That's where we're going next. So you can, it's a tent incentive. Everybody can bring their own tent. And yeah, that'll be fun. That will be fun. I always say Wyoming because I can guarantee you, no matter what the incentive is, it's not Wyoming. Although I think Yellowstone would be fun. Yeah. So okay. Any guesses on? I was looking at this month last year. Any guesses? Anybody know top seller this month last year? Kelly, I literally said Wyoming. You may be the only other one. Any guesses? What was the top selling product? Yeah, nice job, Angie. The Ewok. Yeah, I have that one. And hi to Jan. Jan, I saw you on the video. We missed you at World Tour. Hope you're doing great. Okay, so And this is kind of exciting. Sponsoring is doing really well this month. This year, as compared with this month last year, sponsoring is up, so that is exciting. And I guess I don't know, is that due to the 15 extra bars? Is that having an impact? You guys tell me in the chat or unmute if well, I don't know if you're supposed to unmute or not. Is the 15 extra bars? Oh, all right, those 15 extra bars are epic. Jan says yes. And if Jan says yes, the answer is yes. Okay. All right, let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about mindset. I'm going to, let's see. Oh, good. I can share my screen. Hold on, but I gotta get prepared over here. Because then I share my slides and then you can see all the slides. And I don't really want that. I just want you to see the one slide that I want you to see. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset. I got a couple of stories to tell you and a couple of quotes to share. I had an experience a couple of weeks ago. This is my daughter. She is my second oldest daughter and sort of the middle child. So not surprising, the middle child is a redhead and she has all the fire you would anticipate from a wonderful redheaded daughter. And she's, yeah, very driven, very kind of that type A personality. I mean, no nonsense type person. Lovely, lovely girl. Amber is her name. And she plays softball. Here she is in her softball gear. Their season just ended, and that gives us about a 1 week break before club ball kicks in. She's a junior this year in high school, and it is typically between your junior and senior years that you pick what college you're going to. And so she's in the middle of sending emails and things like that to college coaches to express interest in going to camps and tournaments and things. So but she was playing in junior year. She's third baseman for our cute little team. I live in a little town called Kuna. You can see it there, Kun. The last letter is an A. Rhymes with tuna. Kuna. Kuna. And Orville always makes fun of Kuna because our mascot, we are the cavemen, the Kuna cavemen, because we have this little underground cave here in Kuna that's really quite fascinating. But for some reason, when they came up with the mascot, they thought that alliteration would be the fundamental skill to teach children, not spelling. And so we are the Kuna cavemen, but with a K. Kuna caveman. Yeah, Renee, it is caveman, but you spelled it wrong. You spelled it with a C. So we spelled Kuna caveman with a K. And Orville always makes fun that he would never send his children to a school that misspelled their mascot on purpose. But one day after her game, the way home games work is they play their game and then the players are allowed to come talk to their fans and things like that for a couple of minutes. And then the coach yells or blows a whistle and all the players have to go out to left field and talk with the coach and recap the game. And a couple of weeks ago, a game happened and she did not do well. She had a pretty bad day at the plate. I think she went 0 for 3 or maybe 0 for 4, did not do particularly well. And she came off of the field and had quite a few people to talk to. Her mom was there, and grandma and grandpa were there, and I think probably one of her siblings and a couple of friends. And I was standing off kind of on the side. And so she had talked with a handful of people, and everybody's dabbing up and things like that. And she comes up to me, and I give her a big hug, and I told her, hey, nice job. Way to appreciate you giving full effort. That's what I usually say. Appreciate you giving full effort. And she said, I am terrible at hitting right now. I cannot hit. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I was a little surprised because it was one of the first times I've ever experienced any level of what appeared to be self-doubt or anything from Amber. She is always so just, I'm going to get it done, boom, dive in, get things done. And so I was kind of taken aback and it was true what she said. Well, it wasn't true what she said. She'd had a bad hitting day. And so I didn't have, I wasn't quickly armed with no, you kidding? You went 2 for 4. You're doing fine. No, she'd gone over that day, and I was like, and so I kind of went, and then just right then, literally right then, the coach yelled, you know, I can't even remember what the coach says, round it up or left field or something like that. Anyway, the coach calls and boom, all the players have to leave. And so she turns and I got to go, and off she runs. And I was like, oh, dang, I didn't have really an opportunity to respond in the way that I had hoped. But what it did do for me is it sort of gave me an opportunity to prepare for what I was going to tell her when she got home. And maybe, some of you, I had a few minutes and I was thinking, all right, I know Amber's going to come home, and I know that I'm going to have an opportunity here to talk with her about this. And I don't know a whole lot about softball. My kids have far exceeded my athletic skill. I always tell people I was on the football team. That should not be confused with playing football. Did I play football? No. I was on the football team. Those two things are different. Semantics matter. And I was on the team but didn't play. And that was for a couple of years in high school. And then finally, after my junior year, I was like, this is a waste of time to stand here and watch other people play football. I can stand here and watch other people play football in the stands. And in the stands, there's girls. So, no, Jan, I was not the water boy. I just stood there, and the water boy got on the field more than I did, because at least at timeouts, the water boy ran on the field. But so I don't know a whole lot about hitting. So when I talk to my kids, it's mostly about mindset and approach. So my daughter was coming home, and I was kind of preparing myself. And I thought about that because maybe some of you have experienced something like that in your own business. Is there a point in your business where you've maybe thought, like, I cannot do parties right now, or I am terrible at recruiting right now, or man, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm not really enjoying my Scentsy business right now. Or this, 4 years ago, I was doing great in Scentsy, and now it seems like I can't get anything going. I can't build any momentum. You see, in what my daughter said, in what she expressed, I heard echoes of so many of my own personal feelings, as well as so many of the feelings of others that I have talked with and interacted with and learned from and been associated with my 15 years at Scentsy. And yeah, oh boy, Nomi, did I say that right? Nomi? How do I say that? Yeah, fortunately, I haven't found myself thinking that at all. That's good. That's good. If you haven't ever thought that, I hope you go your whole Scentsy career thinking that. Crystal, that does go through my mind. Yeah, it's the self-doubt part, right? And she was dealing with that. Now, strangely, in my mind, I know that she had another game coming in 2 days. And so I'm like, oh man, here's the thing. I was nervous about that mental state going into the next game. And so I thought, I need to address this before the next game. So luckily, what popped into my head was some stuff I had read from a book. Oh, I'll try to show you the cover page because that's easier to see than the spine. Oh, Road to Character. This book is called The Road to Character by David Brooks. If you like David Brooks, he's written quite a few books. Dang it, the stupid ring light. There we go. Road to Character, David Brooks. If you like, he's written a lot of books. This one's good. And in Road to Character, David Brooks identifies a bunch of character traits that he sees as important in our character development, in this battle that we all face of just basically becoming better humans. Struggle, self-mastery, dignity, love, self-examination, self-conquest, those types of things. And he talks about some famous people who worked on these characteristics. Pretty good book. But so in one of the chapters, he talks about a guy, Samuel Johnson, and that kind of came on my mind because Samuel Johnson wrote an essay about sorrow. And that's kind of an interesting word, but that's the word he uses, sorrow. And he said sorrow, or what we would maybe now term, this concept of negative self-talk. As we talked about in the chat there, negative self-talk. It's that self-doubt. It's that putting ourselves down, lack of belief. He said it's quite unique because most of the time, when we have needs in our life, like we're hungry, we're thirsty, we're tired, or he says we're afraid. What's interesting about all of these is that all of these things drive us. Look, I'm going to use these cute arrows forward into action. All these things make us go this way to get a, let's see how well I do, right, result. Kind of fun to use this. I could have put all of this in the PowerPoint, but it's more fun to draw with the red pen. Result. Because when you're hungry, you're driven forward to eat, and now you have the result. You're not hungry anymore. When you're thirsty, you're driven forward to drink something. You're not thirsty. When you're tired, unless you're a mom, most often you're driven forward to sleep, and then you're not tired anymore. And if you're afraid, he says you're driven forward to flight or fight or whatever it is, but you're driven forward to get out of that situation as best as possible. And so most of our human emotions drive us forward to a result. But look what he says about sorrow that's different. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I have to erase all of these before it will. Okay. Oh boy, that's not what I want. Okay, where's my, whoops, that's really not what I wanted. Annotate, get rid of all drawings. There we go. This is Samuel Johnson. Sorrow. That state of mind in which our desires are fixed upon the past without looking forward to the future, an incessant wish that something were otherwise than it has been, a tormenting and harassing want of some enjoyment or possession we have lost. See, that's how sorrow, or this negative mindset that we all experience, is different than so many of the other human emotions. Because hunger drives us forward. When we're hungry, we don't often sit there and think, oh my gosh, why didn't I eat 2 hours ago? Why did I let 8 hours or 6 hours or 2 hours pass without eating something? Oh my gosh, I wish I would have eaten 2 hours ago. We don't sit and stew on how frustrated we are that we didn't eat earlier. No, when we're hungry, we just move forward to solving the problem. We eat something. But when we're in this negative mindset, our desires are fixed upon the past. This is what I kind of identified as having happened with my daughter. And I saw this with her. She wasn't necessarily looking to the past or the future. She really had this state of mind where her desires were fixed upon the past without looking forward to the future, and definitely wishing that things were otherwise. She wished she had gone 2 for 4. 1 for 4 would have been fine. 3 for 4 would have been spectacular. But boy, she was sure wishing that things were otherwise than they had been. And so this is where we find ourselves as a unique byproduct of that kind of mental state, that kind of negative self-talk. Now, here's what Samuel Johnson says. This next little quote from him. The safe and general antidote against sorrow is employment. And he doesn't mean going and getting a job there, by the way. He just means doing something. But I love this line. Sorrow is a kind of rust of the soul, the putrefaction of life, and is remedied by exercise and motion. And so these were the thoughts that were on my mind before my daughter came home and I had to talk with her about this. I was thinking about, how do I get you from focusing here on the past, on your wish that things were different than what they were, and getting you focused on exercise and motion, something moving forward. So my daughter got home and I talked with her a little bit. And I talked with her a bit about mindset. And I reminded her that she had another game coming up in 2 days. We looked at a few of her season stats to highlight some of her successes, to kind of say, like, look, no, you're doing pretty good. I sent her a little reel of a guy named Deion Sanders. Some of you are familiar with Deion Sanders. He's oh yeah, Karen's familiar with Deion Sanders. They're in Colorado. He's right now the head football coach of the Colorado football team, University of Colorado Buffaloes, and was in the news quite a bit this past year because of that, and his son, who's a gifted quarterback. But he's, he came with fame. He was a incredibly gifted football player. But in my day, one of the most prolific athletes of my time growing up, because he played both football and baseball. Him and Bo Jackson, kind of the very, very rare two-sport athletes, where he played for both the Atlanta Hawks and the Atlanta Braves, and would play in his football games on Sunday and then catch up with the Hawks. Catch up with the Braves. Did I say played for the Hawks? Falcons. He played with the Falcons. The Hawks are the basketball team. He didn't play basketball. And so he was on a news sports show, and somebody asked him, with all these incredible sport achievements that you've had, what's the most difficult thing you ever did? And he said, hitting a baseball was the most difficult thing. And he said, because if you hit a baseball, when you're hitting a baseball, if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're one of the greatest hitters of all time. They'll give you, he said, you'll make $400 million if you can fail 7 out of 10 times hitting a baseball. So I sent that to my daughter. But what was most important, again, was this movement towards exercise and motion. And so I said to her, here's what you need to do. It was a Friday. She had a game on Monday. I said, you need to text your coach tonight and ask your coach if she is willing to meet you at the hitting facility tomorrow. There's an indoor hitting facility at our high school where players can go. And get into the hitting facility and do some hitting and get back into a positive momentum and feel and rhythm of hitting before your game Monday. And so that's what my daughter did. She contacted the coach. The coach was gracious enough to meet her. Her and one of her good friends on the team met the coach actually for the next couple of days, and went to the hitting facility and hit, and spent a few hours getting back into a positive rhythm of hitting. And so I talked with her before her next game Monday, and I just asked her, I said, hey, when you go up to the plate, where's your mindset going to be at? Because that was what was most important. But what changed it was moving from this being fixed upon the past to going forward in exercise and motion. And I was able to kind of talk about that with my daughter a little bit, because these were experiences that I personally had also been through in my life. And some of you indicated something that maybe some of you have been through in your life. This feeling of being stuck in the past, of negative mindset, negative self-talk. And I kind of had a period in my life where it was really starting to take a negative toll on my life. And man, I am so blessed. I often remind myself that if I'm 44 now, if 44-year-old me talked to 24-year-old me, 24-year-old me would be shocked that 44-year-old me is, you know, doing so well. A 24-year-old me would be like, my gosh, wait, you have a car that works? Yeah. Yeah. Because 24-year-old me, I was getting my master's degree at the time, and the college that I went to, if you went to college there, you got a free bus pass for the city. And I was a high school teacher at the time before leaving teaching and coming to Sensi. And so I was taking the city bus to work every morning, because we only had one car and it didn't function all that well, and was better to be left at home than to be sitting in the parking lot of the school that I taught at all day long. And a couple of kids, and like to have a house and a good paying job and a vehicle that drives, and actual decent clothes that I had bought, had a first-hand store, not a second-hand store. 24-year-old me would be amazed. The problem is 44-year-old me was not so thrilled, and probably more like 41, 42-year-old me. Because like 40-year-old me had nice house, nice car, good job, good family, good kids, all these things. But like 40-year-old me was in this weird mental space of some of that negativity that many of you have talked about. And it really became apparent to me with the first thing that I thought of every single morning, because I started to become aware that the first thing that would happen every single morning is I would wake up in my nice house, nice neighborhood. Got to get up. I mean, I'm laying next to my beautiful wife. Got to get up, go wake up my good kids to get them ready to go to the nice schools before I hop in my fully functioning vehicle and drive to my wonderful job at Sensi. But the first thing that would pop into my mind when my feet hit the floor was, I don't want to do this. And almost every single day, the first thing that popped into my head was, I don't want to do this. And I tried to start to self-analyze how this had happened. And I thought, how did I get to this place where I have everything around me that should lead to some level of happiness and satisfaction, and yet most mornings, the first thing that pops into my head is, I don't want to do this. And what was weird for me is I realized I couldn't pinpoint a day. I couldn't look back in my life. Some people have this. Maybe some of you have experienced this in your own life or in the life of others that you know. I call them kind of light switch moments, where life changes just in a moment. And it's almost like the light has switched off. Or sometimes it's the reverse. It's like you're in a dark place and all of a sudden, boom, something happens, and maybe it's a job, a relationship, a change in location, something happens, and boom, the light switches on. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, life is great. Or something happens, the loss of a job, a negative medical diagnosis, the loss of a family member, something dramatic happening in your life, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, the light switches off and you're like, boom, I'm in darkness. And yeah, Kelly, I thank you for bringing that up. I want to be very careful and clear. I'm in no way qualified to talk about depression or some of the serious mental health concerns that many, many people deal with. And so that's, I don't want to give the impression that I am qualified to talk about that, because I'm not. And yeah, and Kelly, I appreciate that many people deal with mental health situations like depression. And my best advice to you is to talk with someone who's qualified to help you through some of those things. Don't just listen to me, because I'm not qualified. But many of us, without maybe fully being in what would be termed depression, experience this negative self-talk, this doubt, these times of darkness. And what I noticed for myself was it had been so gradual. It had been so imperceptible. I call it a sunset moment, because there was no one moment where like, oh, everything's great. boom, everything sucks. It was just like sort of gradually getting there. Yeah, and maybe and you've all experienced this when you've sat outside and you're I don't know, talking or reading or playing a game or something like that, and just gradually it gets darker. Now, what's interesting is when things gradually get darker, the human response is typically to identify the new state as fine rather than make dramatic changes to get to a new state. So as things slowly get darker, where we tend to find ourselves is in a position where, we were here and then we move here and we call this new state fine. And then we get here and, oh, this is fine. And then we get here and it's like, this is the new fine. And then we get here and we say, this is the new fine, until we finally get to a place where we're like, this is not fine anymore. And then we take action to get ourselves back to a place. But when you move from like here to here, we don't often go, oh, wait a minute, I've slipped a little bit. I'm working dramatically to get here. No, we sort of slowly adjust down until we decide. Same thing if it's getting colder. If you're just sitting and it's slowly getting colder, slowly getting colder, slowly getting colder. I mean, until it's like, boom, okay, I'm putting on a hoodie. We'll sit there for a while, adjusting to the new temperature before taking dramatic action to change our state. And so sometimes we allow that to happen in our business, in our relationships, in sometimes our personal finance or personal health, where things just kind of are drifting. And every time they drift, we just kind of call the new thing fine. Rather than, as Samuel Johnson said, being remedied by exercise and motion. We tend to sometimes be fixed upon the past with an incessant wish that something were otherwise than it has been. He uses language so well, a tormenting and harassing want of some enjoyment or possession we have lost. And so many, many times as I talk with people, oftentimes that has happened in their business. They've gotten to like right here and they're like, I talked with a wonderful person the other day and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm in a little bit of trouble because my business isn't where I need it to be and I need to start turning some things around. And it's good that she's recognizing that here and starting to turn those things around. But man, so many times in our life, we just let it slowly slip. And that's what had happened to me. And so one morning, my feet hit the ground and I thought, oh my gosh, I do not want to do this because like I would just kind of meander my way through my day. And from the moment I woke up, I was just like, when can I go back to sleep? And I was like, oh, geez, I don't want to do this. And I'd pull up my phone and I'd look at my calendar and I'd be like, oh, this meeting and that meeting. And oh my gosh, I got to run my daughter to soccer practice. And finally, one morning, I had hit like this space where I was like, this is not fine. And so my feet hit the ground. I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. And all of a sudden I said, no, we're not. I'm 40 years old. I'm not living this way for the next 40 years of my life. And so I decided I had to, as Samuel Johnson said, be an exercise in motion. And so I took some specific steps to change around my personal morning routine. And for me, I started implementing 3Ms: movement, mindset, and meditation. And so I get up and I do, it's so weird. The internet and algorithms are crazy. It's a little scary, but literally if I had a video, if I could screenshot for you, when I open up YouTube tomorrow morning, the first thing that will come up on my YouTube feed tomorrow morning will be a 10-minute yoga routine. Because every single morning, I just open up YouTube and started searching for 10-minute yoga routines just to get some body movement going. And now it feeds me a 10-minute yoga routine every morning. That's the only time. If I opened up YouTube right now, you would not see a 10-minute yoga routine. If I open up YouTube right now, I'm into news and politics, so I've got some stupid stories about some of the news and politics of the day and some sports stories about the NBA playoffs. But tomorrow morning, first thing will be a 10-minute yoga thing. It's the craziest thing. So I do a little bit of yoga. I gratitude journal. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every single morning. And then I try to do about 5 to 10 minutes of meditation breathing. Headspace is a really great app. There's a free piece of that, and then there's a paid piece. But if you just do the free piece, but like if you have Amazon Prime, you have access to Prime Music, and you can go in there and search for meditation, and there's some guided meditations in there. If you just go into YouTube and search for guided meditation, there's some guided meditation there too. Lots of free stuff. I would tell people, like, unless you're really into it, probably don't need to pay for any guided meditation because there's plenty of free stuff out there. But so I started doing those 3 things every single morning. Why? Because I had to be more intentional about what I was doing. It was just like with my daughter. She could have just gone from Friday night in that bad mental mindset, not taken any action, and gone into her games Monday. And I think it would have been really bad. But instead, she took intentional action. And oh yeah, thank you, Andrea. Gratitude journaling is writing down 3 things that you're grateful for at the start of every day. And I could talk for 30 minutes on starting a habit of gratitude journaling, but I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you one thing: put your gratitude journal in a prevalent place. If you like put it in your drawer next to your bed, you're not going to do it, because you're going to get up in the morning and then you're going to do what you always do, which is go into the kitchen or whatever, get your coffee, whatever it is that you do in the morning. And then you're going to think, oh, dang, I'm supposed to do a gratitude journaling, but my notebook is in the drawer of my bedroom, and I don't want to walk back over there. Or if I walk back over there, I'm going to wake up whoever else is in there, whatever. I don't want to do that. I'm going to sit here and scroll Instagram. And so you're going to do the same thing you always did. You got to put the journal in a place that is prevalent. So boom, you see it first thing in the morning. Okay. But that is the same thing I've seen consistently with people in their business. When we get into that negative space in our business, the same exact key applies. It's like duct tape. This concept is like duct tape. It fixes everything. If you're hitting poorly and frustrated about your hitting, this concept fixes that. If you wake up every single morning like me and flip your feet over the bed and they're like, oh my gosh, I do not want to do today, this helps fix that. If you're frustrated with your business or a relationship or your personal finances or your personal health or a job or whatever, this concept helps that, because the way we approach it is to say, okay, I've got to get out of this space of being fixed upon the past without looking forward to the future, and instead focus on the remedy of exercise and motion. Mel Robbins says you're always one decision away from completely changing your life. And yeah, that's true. But the key is to identify an intentional small thing. See, I knew that I didn't want to give my daughter a huge task to take. It was a small task. Text your coach, see if she can meet you at the hitting facility tomorrow. Something that my daughter can do in almost no time. Text your coach, see if she can meet you at the hitting facility. Because I just wanted her to take a small action forward. For me, gratitude journey. I didn't start with meditation and yoga. I've added those. I started just with gratitude journey. because it was a small thing I could just change every morning, because man, it really changed the mindset where when my feet hit the ground, what started to go through my mind was, ooh, what am I going to write down in my gratitude journal? What happened yesterday that I'm grateful for? Instead of, I don't want to do this today. I also tied it to letting my dog out. I'm the one who gets up every single morning to let the dog out. So as soon as I let the dog out, I do my gratitude journaling. That's another little hint for you. It's called habit stacking. Take something you're currently doing, stack what you want to do on top of it, and you'll be almost immediately successful. Implementing a new habit. So that's really the invitation that I have for you tonight, is that same process applied to your business. As you look and you say, okay, man, I got to get my business going. What do? You find a small action that you can take, some small behavior that you can implement consistently over time. If you look at the successful people that you see on this call that you look up to, and you think, I'll just use Karen because she's the one that invited me. If you say, Karen, what was the day you became a superstar director? Well, there's like a date. She could probably tell you, like, it was, October of whatever month, whatever year.
It was
But
May 3rd. It was April 30th, 2010.
there you go, April 2010.
But that's not when I started acting like a superstar.
Yeah, see, the same thing. It's a sunrise. They're both it's both sunset and sunrise. And success with Scentsy is never the light switch. That's what I have discovered in my 15 years. There's no one action you can take that tomorrow will make you a superstar director. I don't think we allow people to sell their businesses. So you're like, well, what if I bought somebody else's superstar director? I don't, you can't do that. So you just have to start. You just have to say, today's the day I start becoming a superstar director. Today's the day the sunrise starts. Today's the day that it gets a little bit brighter today than it was yesterday. A little bit more positivity, a little bit more productivity, a little bit more movement and momentum. The sunrise starts now. See, because what's crazy is my daughter, if I looked at her batting average the day she said that and her batting average now, I think it's maybe gone down a couple of points or up a couple of points. It's been pretty consistent all season. She ended up pretty good. So she wasn't like so dramatically better after that, but her mindset was so dramatically better. But she wasn't so terrible before. That was the thing. She just thought she was. But what changed the mindset and helped her stay on a successful path is just saying, okay, I'm going to just, hey, Friday was bad. Saturday is the day the sunrise happens. Saturday is the day I take action to make it a little bit brighter. Saturday is the day I meet with my coach at the hitting facility. So, today you can go, we talked on the leadership call earlier this week about the reorder report. And I know Cheers to 20 Years this month is becoming active. If you just say, okay, this month I'm going to become active, start with that reorder report. Go to your workstation, go to sales reports, or go to reporting, click on sales reports, click on reorder report. It'll default set 0 to 3 months. If you click run, it'll run the report and show you everyone who last ordered between 0 and 3 months ago. And you can just start reaching out to people. You can set it for 0 to 5 months if you want to start reaching out to people who last ordered 5 months ago. But just say, okay, I'm just going to reach out to 2 people a day, 3 people a day, 5 people. It doesn't need to be, I'm going to spend an hour a day. Hate to say it, but if you're not already spending an hour a day on your business, you probably won't start today. I mean, today you will, because we just spent this hour together. But if you're not already spending an hour a day reaching out to past customers, you probably won't start tomorrow and be consistent with it. You may do it for one day tomorrow, but you probably not consistent behavior. So start smaller. That's why I told my daughter, just text your coach. Just do one small thing. Just reach out to 5 people a day. And you might think, oh no, I'm feeling great. I'm gonna reach out to 100 people. Just do 5. Because if you just reach out to 5, now you can reach out to 5 again the next day, and reach out to 5 again the next day, and reach out to 5 again the next day. Sometimes we over exert and burn out. So don't overexert and burn out. Just small action, just sunrise. You're not trying to light switch and in one day of follow-up get to superstar director. You're just trying to sunrise. You just want today to be a little bit better than the next day, a little bit better than yesterday, and maybe not even better, just consistent. That's the key. Is the first thing you're trying to build is consistency. You're not trying to build the entire structure of being an SSD in one day. You're just one brick at a time. As the song says, just one more brick in the wall. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall, except this wall is good. It's the it's the wall of becoming a superstar director. And we won't get into comfortably numb. So how did I get there? So that's the key. Same thing I told my daughter, same thing I did personally, same thing I would invite you to do. So a couple of things to look at. What's the first thing you do every morning? What's the last thing you do every night? Those two things can have a big impact on your mindset and your approach. First thing you do every morning, last thing you do every night. Control those. Be very intentional about what those two things are. Because oftentimes we just allow those to be whatever, or they have become scrolling. But control the first thing and the last thing you do, and then set yourself one intention a day. And you say, before I do this, I'm always going to do that. Before I ever scroll Instagram, I'm always going to reach out to 2 customers. And just give yourself that little bit of an intention, a personal rule, a small thing. Yeah, thank you, Karen, for putting that in the chat. Reporting sales reports, reorder report. One of the best tools for becoming active in a month, because just follow up with past customers. And then add in some things like doing a personal booking blitz, asking people who order from you if they also want to run a Scentsy business, flipping hosts using Earn-A-Kit, right? All these little things start to stack on top of each other, and pretty soon you're building more success. But it all starts with that one thing right now to say, boom, today's the day. And sometimes that comes because you just decide, and sometimes it comes because of pain. For my daughter, it was pain. For me, it was pain. Like, I was tired of living that unhappy. And so sometimes it's that way in our business. You should get to a point in your business, you're like, I'm tired of my business being this way. But you have to intentionally create the sunrise. Okay. That's the invitation for you. I've probably said enough that most of it you'll be able to forget.
I think that's unlikely. I think it was fantastic. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Karen. Yes,
I would love anyone who feels comfortable sharing in the chat what that one intention is that they're going to start with tomorrow morning or tonight.
Oh.
As no one comments in the chat because we've scared them all off. No. Gratitude journal.
Yeah, good.
I think, someone just privately messaged me and said, I think that training was definitely fantastic.
That's kind.
I love this. Writing my goals down, buying more stamps so I can make more happy mail. Gratitude journal. I love it. I love it. I love it.
If you're stuck thinking, gosh, I don't know what my intention would be. One hint this week, if you go to the Scentsy Family Consultants Facebook group, I think it is, page, we highlight a document every week in our weekly learning plan, and this week it's the Power Hour document. That's a good one.
That's a fantastic one. A fantastic one.
Yeah.
I love this. I love follow up with 5 more people, 5 join conversations, start my join convos, lots of gratitude journals, post more product posts, making one right now. This week I started doing workouts.
Nice.
I'll read. I don't have to read them out loud for you all, but so many. I love it. I love it. Jan, would you Jan would like to know, would you tell them where they can find you every week sharing something sensey, Jason?
Tuesday, 2 o'clock on the Cincy Family Consultant page.
Tuesday at 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
This week
Excellent.
I actually talked about the Power Hour document.
And isn't that Power Hour document so good because it does show how much you can accomplish in a short time, right? And you can even break it up into 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Love it.
And yes, Andrea, there is a podcast called Cincy Stories. Sarah Walker and I do it. I will be honest, we have gotten a little bit behind.
I was wrong. That was Jenna, not Jan, that asked that question.
Yeah. And Carol, we try to keep Tuesday at 2. I've been told to keep it to 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes I do, sometimes, as you can tell, 2 minutes.
2 minutes of Jason energy is a lot sometimes, right? Anyone with me on that?
Oh, geez.
It's fantastic.
And then I go take a nap.
Hmm.
Yeah, Aaron, that is true. Yeah, I can talk for 45 minutes about many, many things.
Thank you, Jason. This was fantastic. I really am grateful for your time.
Thanks to all of you.
And for you giving up your evening to chat with us. I mean, it's not like you have any kids at home to take care of.
I'm in a weird spot because now my youngest is 10, my oldest is 21. 3 have graduated and are out of high school and off doing things. 3 are in high school. And so I'm in a place where, and then I have the 10-year-old. It's like most of my kids, I never even hardly see them. They intentionally don't see me. You know how teenagers are. I call myself, to my kids, I call myself the dad TM. You only hit it up if you need something.
It doesn't go away either the older they get.
No.
Yeah. Bank of Dad, exactly.
Yeah.
When my almost 23-year-old calls me, I'm like, are you calling for me or Bank of Mom?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jason. Really, really grateful for you. Want to be considerate of your time. I know you've given us 54 minutes, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for showing up, and I hope you all took value from this, because I certainly did. I've got a whole bunch of notes. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wait, we have to do our picture.
Oh, we have to do our picture. Hold on. We got to do our picture. Hold on.
Okay, there's like 4 pages tonight. So
all right, let's see it
for a hot minute. Okay, you ready? Okay, you got to keep smiling, Jason. You're on every page. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then the last page. Y'all are also beautiful. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Nomi. We've met in person, and I always forget how to say your name. Did I say it right? Nomi Warren, did I say your name right?
Oh, wait, did she
No,
unmute yourself? Like you did not win the Emmy Award.
Yes.
Oh, that's why I was wondering why it said something about Emmy Awards. I was seeing that in the chat and I was like, what?
No Emmy for you.
No Emmy. Yeah. I'll remember that because you've probably told me that before. Sorry.
It's all right. I'm sure you meet quite a few people.
No, he doesn't ever talk to anyone. All right, you guys, thank you so much. We'll be back here next week for Taco Tuesday, and it'll be another fantastic night. Thank you for joining us and have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
So much. Bye.